Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chupacabra's lair. We're back for another episode of Music Game Jam here today, checking out some minstrels of code and graphical goodness. And for those of you who might not be familiar with Music Game Jam, the idea is, like a lot of game jams, it was to get people, especially aspiring indie developers, out of their shell and to create something that they might not otherwise have created. In this case, something that involves music or something musical as a core concept of the game. It could be a guitar that shoots a death ray. It could be a bird that has to dance to the rhythm of somebody else's drum. Or it could just be a mutated music note that wants to take over the planet. I don't know, but it has to be musical in some respect, even if it's kind of stretched. And to start us off here today, we've got Slash Chord, which is made by Sanctum. Sanctum? No, Sanctum. And this is a game where, well, we've been, unfortunately, invaded. So there was once a small town. It was a happy town, full of very happy people living their happy lives, except for George over here by the beach. He's extra happy. But you know those happy towns, they're always getting invaded by the evil earworms, who... they don't crawl into your ears, they just play really nice mind-controlling music and take over the town. Now it's up to us, one person who's tone deaf, to fight off these insidious monsters. Oh, so it looks like the full name is Sanctum Bind. Or Sanctum Bird? I don't know, I'm bad with names. But we're a knight now, we've become a knight, We've been nominated by virtue of being tone deaf, and now we've got to go defend the town. So the way that this works is, we don't move. We just wait till the townspeople come up, and then we hit spacebar, trying to match it up to the beat, and then we bop them on the head. I'm assuming that we're bopping them on the head. Otherwise, we are literally massacring all of our friends and family for no other reason than they're currently being mind-controlled like zombies. And I do kind of wonder... like, if you're a mind control zombie, is that a lot like a regular zombie? Are you just on like a really kind of grotesque version of the Atkins diet? Where you just start eating people that you meet on the subway in Florida? Like that guy who was on bath salts? Because essentially all you're doing is you just gotta bap enough townspeople until you can proceed to the next level. Unfortunately, sometimes even when I do hit the button to bop one of the townspeople and it sounds like I'm matching it up to the beat, I don't always see the sword go off. Which, I mean, it's a game jam. The whole idea is you have a very limited amount of time to make a game, so in a lot of cases, you know, it runs and it doesn't explode my computer. That's perfect. In this case, it just seems like there's a little bit of a bug there, but not bad. And I think I can see, you know, the start of a concept here for a combat system based around timing up beats to the music. And I'd imagine if you were to do this in like a three-dimensional version, you'd try to match the beat up so that it like empowers your sword to kill magical monsters, or it's like a counter spell so that you can try and stop the evil mind creatures from taking over the world. That said, I mean, there's not a lot crazy going on about the game. I think the scariest thing that occasionally happens is you get some romantic zombified people coming to say hi. They've gone out and found their boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife and decided to make an evening of it, nibbling on the nearly defenseless knight as he tries to save the town while enjoying some romantic music. And I would say, on a conceptual level, I like this game as a story. I always love it when you spend a little bit of time to give me a reason to be here. Otherwise, it's like I'm playing one of a bazillion Flash games I used to as a kid on Newgrounds that just kind of existed for no other reason than to give somebody an excuse to make a game about shooting demons. And aside from that, I mean, everything mostly seems to work together. There's very basic graphics. It's not crazy, but I'd be interested to see what the original goal was. Were you trying to make like an endless runner? Were you trying to make like an endless runner slash hack and slash? I'm not sure, but I feel like there's something in here that you could expand upon. I just can't quite tell what it is. It's kind of basic, generic, and not very interesting after the initial story. So, I mean, good job. It works. It didn't explode by computer, so nice job.
Looking at the roster, it looks like it's your turn to do the diagnostic on the rover, rookie. Okay, let's see here.
Alrighty, so next up we have the Martian Anomaly, made by Kenrick DeSouza and John Elliott.
Sit there.
And this is an interesting title because this game has no graphics to it. This is a game all about audio and directional audio, where you have to navigate a rover by hearing alone.
To keep things simple for our lovely rookie, all you have to do is use the 2 joysticks to move the rover around. You know, just to make sure all the motors and sensors are functioning properly. The left stick makes it go forward and back, while the right stick turns it around.
Alright, so the idea here is that
I've re-enabled your controls.
Something has
When you're ready,
happened
press the X
on
to
the surface of
startup sequence.
Mars, and our rover lost
out,
telemetry from the visuals, and now we have to just try to go through the diagnostics and get everything booted back up by using only the power of our magnificent ears and following the music. There's another beeping sound that we have access to in this game, and that is essentially a proximity sensor so that we don't, you know, drive into a rock, because, you know, rovers are expensive, NASA gets mad all the time. You can't just throw keggers anymore and then just leave, like, the keg on top of the rover. I guess it's bad for the gyros or something. So right now there's a beep, and it sounds like it's coming from my left, so I'm gonna tap the D key to kind of get away from it. I'm gonna try and just orient myself in space. So I'm not 100% certain if the goal of this game is to reach a destination on, like, the Martian planet, or just to test out the rover. So we're just gonna move a little bit forward with W. So we hear... Okay, that's the proximity sensor. There's something immediately to my right, so I'm gonna hit W. So that goes away. And I do like this game because it has really nice directional audio, which is something that, you know, various developers struggle with. And I really think this could make a really nice game for mapping out your environment. But I'm not really sure what. And I think really the thing that you need is a better, like, more definitive goal. Because right now I'm just kind of wandering around. I'm not really sure if there's a specific rhyme or reason for my movements, or what. Now, we do have a narrator telling us how to get everything working, because we are the rookie. Which is, again, a nice touch. I like it when there is some sort of grounding in the world that you find yourself in, who we are and what we're doing here. I'm just kind of curious what you might go with this game, so I'm gonna go forward a little bit more. Okay, there's something right in front of us. What about off to the right? Okay, we hit the wall after about 3 or 4 clicks. Okay, it's right in front of us. I'm not really sure where we're supposed to go. I think the main issue I have with this game is that this would depend upon me understanding units of scale within the game to tell how far my rover's going, and to then build myself some type of mental map. I think you might need to have something like a mini-map get slowly revealed in one of the corners of this game so I could kind of tell where I'm going. And also, again, tell me what the goal is. Like, do I have to reach, like, base so that there's, like, an astronaut on Mars to fix this? Is there, like, my robot arm mother is going to reassemble my ocular sensors? I don't know. I like this game a lot. Like, I like the concept behind it. But now you've got to tie this core, this directional audio that you use to orient your body, into the greater scheme of the game. And what I have seen people do with stuff like this before is kind of like the original Daredevil movie, which is where, like, you know, you do something and they kind of, you have to use directional audio that occasionally you can ping and you can kind of light up some of the terrain so you have a vague idea of where you're going, kind of like echolocation. So I don't know, I like the concept, I'm just confused as to where I'm going and where I might take this. I tried mapping this out on a piece of paper earlier, but I kind of still ended up running into a wall and not 100% certain, again, where I'm going. So nice job, I don't know, a little bit more refinement, and I understand this is a jam build, so you run out of time. But the directional audio works, and that's always something I like to see. Alright, last but certainly not least, we have Major Music Parade, or Super Major Music Parade, which is made by Great Bit Gamers. And this is an endless runner of sorts, where you play as Super Major, at least that's what I'm going to call this guy, and your job is to try and run as far as you can through either the city or a parade ground while avoiding evil music notes. To help you along, you can do a power slide, you can blast the evil music with your spacebar to play your flute, and you can do a power slide or hop over them. And occasionally, if you get lucky, you might even be able to get a super cool guitar, which I've seen, but I haven't actually been able to successfully get. Conveniently, you don't actually have to avoid people in this game, which is something I thought you had to do originally. And I ended up jumping into a lot of the evil music notes without really intending to. I think you get points by sliding into the correct notes, and you only have 3 points of health, so you gotta be careful that you don't explode. And there's even like a high score here. I don't know if this is supposed to be based on the internet, like I don't think this is calling out to the web, but you can write butts or something in here if you want. It's very old school arcadey. I wonder if we can get one of those. Hey, there's a music instrument there. Alright, so this is like a shotgun of musical notes. That's actually kind of cool. Alright, I can definitely see this going places as an endless runner. Because one thing you need to make a really compelling endless runner, aside from the ability to move in more than one way, is you need some really cool power-ups to give you a reason to run through an environment. And of the endless runners that I've attempted to play so far in this jam, some of which didn't want to record or didn't want to behave themselves, this one is probably the most complete. Now, the only thing you'd need beyond this is maybe some setting to give us a reason to exist in this world. Not necessarily super required in an endless runner, but the other thing you really want, if you want to make like a really stand-up endless runner that you can release on mobile and other platforms, is it's really nice if you can input some type of ability to unlock additional landscapes or additional levels. A lot of endless runners, it's really a one-note kind of deal, not to make a music pun, where all you've got to be able to do is just get higher scores in the same level, which kinda gets boring after a while, to be honest. So giving people some options there would be kinda cool, and maybe like a villain that we can fight against. There's certainly nothing wrong with having a reason to exist in a world, but again, as long as you have lots of cool places that you can go roam, I think that would be great. And you just need some sort of basic things like additional music, some different power-ups, and you'd be good to go. I mean, you could even give the graphics an overhaul, but graphics and endless runners, so long as they're serviceable, which this is more than serviceable, I can tell what everything is. Each one of these characters has their own unique characteristics of like a businessman, a grumpy old man, some sort of edgy goth kid. All those things are there with a bunch of crazy, kind of industrial complex things going on in the city behind us. So yeah, nice job. I like this one a lot, and I think this could go places. I mean, with an endless runner, that's a pretty set-in-stone formula anymore. Although the only thing I'm not sure what you're supposed to do is you can, like, hit A and D for some reason. And I guess it makes noise occasionally, but I'm not sure if that's actually intended to be in there. Let's hit F1. Yeah, A or G keys to play a note, to display it. I'm not really sure what that does, but there, this is what it says. These are fans, they each have a required combo, and some of them give extra points if you can please them, which I certainly didn't quite get there. But, oh, okay, so that's why you wanted to play the music notes. I didn't quite understand that originally. I'm playing this in a slightly forced smaller screen so that I can actually record it in a compatibility mode that I've got jury-rigged up. so I didn't quite read that before. But alright, nice work. I like this one. So that's it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I've been your host, Larry. This has been another 3 games from the Music Game Jam. By the time this video is out, they will definitely be winners announced for the jam. For my next video, I will be taking a look at who won, and what exactly they were doing right, and what they might need to work on. I mean, everyone's got something to work on. These are game jams. You know, there's not enough time in, you know, the very limited scope to polish everything. But I always like to ponder and ramble on about where I think games are going. So that's it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Links for these games are in the video description, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody, and nice work.